Welcome to the Bible in a Year reading plan. Together we will read through the entire Bible. A portion from the Old Testament, New Testament, Psalms and Proverbs every day. Today's reading is in the video image. Read along, listen daily, and grow in the Word. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay on track with us daily. And you can always go back to previous videos if you miss any days. Genesis 39. 1 Now Joseph had been taken down to Egypt. And Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh, captain of the guard, an Egyptian, bought him from the Ishmaelites who had taken him down there. 2 The Lord was with Joseph, and he was a successful man, and he was in the house of his master the Egyptian. 3 And his master saw that the Lord was with him, and that the Lord made all he did to prosper in his hand. 4 So Joseph found favor in his sight, and served him. Then he made him overseer of his house, and all that he had he put under his authority. 5 So it was, from the time that he had made him overseer of his house and all that he had, that the Lord blessed the Egyptian's house for Joseph's sake, and the blessing of the Lord was on all that he had in the house and in the field. 6 Thus he left all that he had in Joseph's hand, and he did not know what he had except for the bread which he ate. Now Joseph was handsome in form and appearance. 7 And it came to pass after these things that his master's wife cast longing eyes on Joseph, and she said, Lie with me. 8 But he refused and said to his master's wife, Look, my master does not know what is with me in the house, and he has committed all that he has to my hand. 9 There is no one greater in this house than I, nor has he kept back anything from me but you, because you are his wife. How then can I do this great wickedness, and sin against God? 10 So it was, as she spoke to Joseph day by day, that he did not heed her, to lie with her or to be with her. 11 But it happened about this time, when Joseph went into the house to do his work, and none of the men of the house was inside. 12 That she caught him by his garment, saying, Lie with me. But he left his garment in her hand, and fled and ran outside. 13 And so it was, when she saw that he had left his garment in her hand and fled outside. 14 That she called to the men of her house and spoke to them, saying, See, he has brought into us a Hebrew to mock us. He came into me to lie with me, and I cried out with a loud voice. 15 And it happened, when he heard that I lifted my voice and cried out, that he left his garment with me, and fled and went outside. 16 So she kept his garment with her until his master came home. 17 Then she spoke to him with words like these, saying, The Hebrew servant whom you brought to us came into me to mock me. 18 So it happened, as I lifted my voice and cried out, that he left his garment with me and fled outside. 19 So it was, when his master heard the words which his wife spoke to him, saying, Your servant did to me after this manner, that his anger was aroused. 20 Then Joseph's master took him and put him into the prison, a place where the king's prisoners were confined. And he was there in the prison. 21 But the Lord was with Joseph and showed him mercy, and he gave him favor in the sight of the keeper of the prison. 22 And the keeper of the prison committed to Joseph's hand all the prisoners who were in the prison, whatever they did there. It was his doing. 23 The keeper of the prison did not look into anything that was under Joseph's authority, because the Lord was with him, and whatever he did, the Lord made it prosper. Genesis 40. When it came to pass after these things that the butler and the baker of the king of Egypt offended their lord, the king of Egypt. 2 And Pharaoh was angry with his 2 officers, the chief butler and the chief baker. 3 So he put them in custody in the house of the captain of the guard, in the prison, the place where Joseph was confined. 4 And the captain of the guard charged Joseph with them, and he served them, so they were in custody for a while. 5 Then the butler and the baker of the king of Egypt, who were confined in the prison, had a dream, both of them, each man's dream in one night, and each man's dream with its own interpretation. 6 And Joseph came into them in the morning and looked at them, and saw that they were sad. 7 So he asked Pharaoh's officers who were with him in the custody of his lord's house, saying, Why do you look so sad today? 8 And they said to him, We each have had a dream, and there is no interpreter of it. So Joseph said to them, Do not interpretations belong to God? Tell them to me, please. 9 Then the chief butler told his dream to Joseph, and said to him, Behold, in my dream a vine was before me. 10 And in the vine were 3 branches. It was as though it budded, its blossoms shot forth, and its clusters brought forth ripe grapes. 11 Then Pharaoh's cup was in my hand, and I took the grapes and pressed them into Pharaoh's cup, and placed the cup in Pharaoh's hand. 12 And Joseph said to him, This is the interpretation of it. The 3 branches are 3 days. 13 Now within 3 days Pharaoh will lift up your head and restore you to your place, and you will put Pharaoh's cup in his hand according to the former manner, when you were his butler. 14 But remember me when it is well with you, and please show kindness to me. Make mention of me to Pharaoh, and get me out of this house. 15 For indeed I was stolen away from the land of the Hebrews, and also I have done nothing here that they should put me into the dungeon. 16 When the chief baker saw that the interpretation was good, he said to Joseph, I also was in my dream, and there were 3 white baskets on my head. 17 In the uppermost basket were all kinds of baked goods for Pharaoh, and the birds ate them out of the basket on my head. 18 So Joseph answered and said, This is the interpretation of it. The 3 baskets are 3 days. 19 Within 3 days Pharaoh will lift off your head from you and hang you on a tree, and the birds will eat your flesh from you. 20 Now it came to pass on the 3rd day, which was Pharaoh's birthday, that he made a feast for all his servants, and he lifted up the head of the chief butler and of the chief baker among his servants. 21 Then he restored the chief butler to his butlership again, and he placed the cup in Pharaoh's hand. 22 But he hanged the chief baker, as Joseph had interpreted to them. 23 Yet the chief butler did not remember Joseph, but forgot him. Matthew 12:22 Then one was brought to him who was demon-possessed, blind and mute, and he healed him, so that the blind and mute man both spoke and saw. 23 And all the multitudes were amazed and said, Could this be the son of David? 24 Now when the Pharisees heard it they said, This fellow does not cast out demons except by Beelzebub, the ruler of the demons. 25 But Jesus knew their thoughts, and said to them, Every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself will not stand. 26 If Satan casts out Satan, he is divided against himself. How then will his kingdom stand? 27 And if I cast out demons by Beelzebub, by whom do your sons cast them out? Therefore they shall be your judges. 28 But if I cast out demons by the Spirit of God, surely the kingdom of God has come upon you. 29 Or how can one enter a strong man's house and plunder his goods, unless he first binds the strong man? And then he will plunder his house. 30 He who is not with me is against me, and he who does not gather with me scatters abroad. 31 Therefore I say to you, every sin and blasphemy will be forgiven men, but the blasphemy against the Spirit will not be forgiven men. 32 Anyone who speaks a word against the Son of Man, it will be forgiven him, but whoever speaks against the Holy Spirit, it will not be forgiven him, either in this age or in the age to come. 33 Either make the tree good and its fruit good, or else make the tree bad and its fruit bad, for a tree is known by its fruit. 34 Brood of vipers, how can you, being evil, speak good things? For out of the abundance of the heart the mouth speaks. 35 A good man out of the good treasure of his heart brings forth good things, and an evil man out of the evil treasure brings forth evil things. 36 But I say to you that for every idle word men may speak, they will give account of it in the day of judgment. 37 For by your words you will be justified, and by your words you will be condemned. 38 Then some of the scribes and Pharisees answered, saying, Teacher, we want to see a sign from you. 39 But he answered and said to them, An evil and adulterous generation seeks after a sign, and no sign will be given to it except the sign of the prophet Jonah. 40 For as Jonah was 3 days and 3 nights in the belly of the great fish, so will the Son of Man be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth. 41 The men of Nineveh will rise up in the judgment with this generation and condemn it, because they repented at the preaching of Jonah, and indeed a greater than Jonah is. Here. 42 The queen of the south will rise up in the judgment with this generation and condemn it, for she came from the ends of the earth to hear the wisdom of Solomon. And indeed a greater than Solomon is here. 43 When an unclean spirit goes out of a man, he goes through dry places, seeking rest, and finds none. 44 Then he says, I will return to my house from which I came. And when he comes, he finds it empty, swept, and put in order. 45 Then he goes and takes with him 7 other spirits more wicked than himself, and they enter and dwell there, and the last state of that man is worse than the first. So shall it also be with this wicked generation. 46 While he was still talking to the multitudes, behold, his mother and brothers stood outside, seeking to speak with him. 47 Then one said to him, Look, your mother and your brothers are standing outside, seeking to speak with you. 48 But he answered and said to the one who told him, Who is my mother and who are my brothers? 49 And he stretched out his hand toward his disciples and said, Here are my mother and my brothers. 50 For whoever does the will of my Father in heaven is my brother and sister and mother. Psalm 16. 1 A Miktam of David. Preserve me, O God, for in you I put my trust. 2 O my soul, you have said to the Lord, You are my Lord. My goodness is nothing apart from you. 3 As for the saints who are on the earth, they are the excellent ones, in whom is all my delight. For their sorrows shall be multiplied who hasten after another God. Their drink offerings of blood I will not offer, nor take up their names on my lips. 5 O Lord, you are the portion of my inheritance and my cup. You maintain my lot. 6 The lines have fallen to me in pleasant places. Yes, I have a good inheritance. 7 I will bless the Lord who has given me counsel. My heart also instructs me in the night seasons. 8 I have set the Lord always before me. Because he is at my right hand I shall not be moved. 9 Therefore my heart is glad, and my glory rejoices. My flesh also will rest in hope. 10 For you will not leave my soul in Sheol, nor will you allow your Holy One to see corruption. 11 You will show me the path of life, and your presence is fullness of joy. At your right hand are pleasures forevermore. Proverbs 16. 1 The preparations of the heart belong to man, but the answer of the tongue is from the Lord. 2 All the ways of a man are pure in his own eyes, but the Lord weighs the spirits. 3 Commit your works to the Lord, and your thoughts will be established. 4 The Lord has made all for himself, yes, even the wicked for the day of doom. 5 Everyone proud in heart is an abomination to the Lord. Though they join forces, none will go unpunished. 6 In mercy and truth atonement is provided for iniquity, and by the fear of the Lord one departs from evil. 7 When a man's ways please the Lord, he makes even his enemies to be at peace with him. 8 Better is a little with righteousness than vast revenues without justice. 9 A man's heart plans his way, but the Lord directs his steps. 10 Divination is on the lips of the king, his mouth must not transgress in judgment. 11 Honest weights and scales are the Lord's, all the weights in the bag are his work. 12 It is an abomination for kings to commit wickedness, for a throne is established by righteousness. 13 Righteous lips are the delight of kings, and they love him who speaks what is right. 14 As messengers of death is the king's wrath, but a wise man will appease it. 15 In the light of the king's face is life, and his favor is like a cloud of the latter rain. 16 How much better to get wisdom than gold, and to get understanding is to be chosen rather than silver. 17 The highway of the upright is to depart from evil, he who keeps his way preserves his soul. 18 Pride goes before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. 19 Better to be of a humble spirit with the lowly, than to divide the spoil with the proud. 20 He who heeds the word wisely will find good, and whoever trusts in the Lord, happy is he. 21 The wise in heart will be called prudent, and sweetness of the lips increases learning. 22 Understanding is a wellspring of life to him who has it, but the correction of fools is folly. 23 The heart of the wise teaches his mouth, and adds learning to his lips. 24 Pleasant words are like a honeycomb, Sweetness to the soul and health to the bones. Point 25. There is a way that seems right to a man, but its end is the way of death. Point 26. The person who labors for himself, for his hungry mouth drives him on. Point 27. An ungodly man digs up evil, and it is on his lips like a burning fire. Point 28. A perverse man sows strife, and a whisperer separates the best of friends. Point 29. A violent man entices his neighbor, and leads him in a way that is not good. Point 30. He winks his eye to devise perverse things. He purses his lips and brings about evil. Point 31. The silver-haired head is a crown of glory, if it is found in the way of righteousness. Point 32. He who is slow to anger is better than the mighty, and he who rules his spirit than he who takes a city. Point 33. The lot is cast into the lap, but its every decision is from the Lord. Thanks for reading with me today. Come back tomorrow as we continue our journey through the Bible. Like and subscribe so you don't miss the next day.